What's up? I'm here with a clip, an audio clip of me finally starting to understand what it means when they said the revolution will not be televised. You know, like how when you were younger, you hear some things and you just hear it and it just goes over your head. It doesn't really register with you. And as you get older, you observe more, you experience more, and you start to grow into certain things you heard in the past. Like you start to see cliches come to life. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. Like I always heard that when I was younger, and I never really understood what it meant. What that means to me now that I see the discrepancy between what they show in the media and what you're experiencing and observing in real life. You're experiencing, they're showing you this right here. They're showing you this right here. And then there's a whole bunch of everything outside of that that's going on that they're not showing you. They, whoever they might be. Anytime somebody who's not part of the trusted, authoritative sources tries to disseminate any kind of information, they call it misinformation or disinformation. They try to discredit it. We have independent journalists. We have Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, straight from the primary source to the audience. No middleman, no trusted or authority for it to go through. No little frame for them to show it to you through, broken up by commercials, paid for by you know who. Anything that's not mainstream, ABC, CNN, NBC, any of those sources, it can't be trusted. It's supposedly misinformation or whatever, but I would say that is the most reliable source of information because they are getting the information from the primary source right there. So I was listening to a clip. It was a speech. I actually heard it a long time ago from Gil Scott Heron. I don't even know how you pronounce his name. I never even knew who it was. I just heard that speech, and it just had been repeated. The revolution will not be televised. Revolution will not be televised. The revolution will be live. Now I understand what that means. Live, like as in live streamed, like live from IG Live, Facebook Live, YouTube streaming live. That is the live that he was talking about. Straight from the source. Any of these wars or protests or any kind of information that the media is not going to show, you're going to have to get it from the people, the actual people themselves. And they're going to live stream it right there. So there's no middleman, there's no channel, there's no editor, there's no kind of funny business, there's no editorialization, there's no checks for it to go through that's approved by some authority or anything like that. It's going to be straight from the primary source to the audience. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will be live. And that's basically what I'm talking about on this next 10 minutes. So check it out. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of confirmation. Maybe it's confirmation bias, but there's a lot of things in books and a lot of conspiracy theories and a lot of things you might have heard about and never really was sure if it was true or not. A lot of those things I'm starting to be able to confirm and observe for myself, and I'm like, what? For real? So it's just like, there's actually really too much to talk about going on. There's fucking World War III, literally. There's the New World Order coming together, literally. Like, I'm not even saying these things in hyperbolic fashion. Like, literal World War III. They got like Russia and Ukraine and stuff, and they attacking other countries and stuff like that, and all kinds of shit. Oh yeah, the financial collapse or whatever, whatever might be happening with that. What else is going on in the world? Oh yeah, the awakening of the black people. What else? What else? the awakening of all people. I wouldn't even just say black people, but I would just say the awakening of all people, because it's getting too blatant to deny now. Like, the nonsense and the lies are getting too blatant to deny. So when there's a story in the news or the media, or instantly, automatically, everybody's looking at it with a side eye now. Like, nobody trusts the media. Like, everybody, and that's good. Everybody should have a skeptical, lens that they view things through. But in this instance, it's kind of bad because you have no one to trust. Like, you should always have a skeptical lens, but now it's just like pure skepticism, and you just have no home. There's no safe haven. There's no one you could trust. You're always insecure about the information that you're getting. You're insecure about the decision that you're making. This is just like, is that true or not? Like, how can I? And in a lot of instances, there's no way you can check the source because some of these things are so far outside of your reach. So that's when I say, fuck it. I don't even care. I do, but I don't. I kind of do for the future, but I kind of don't because it doesn't really touch me or affect me right now. Right? I don't know. But, like I said, all these things are happening and the people are waking up, and I kind of understand what it means now when they said the revolution will not be televised. I understand what that means now. It means, it quite literally means the media is not going to cover the way this thing, like, turns. Like, when the ship corrects course, notice I say when, I didn't say if. When the ship corrects course, or at least starts to begin correcting the course, the media is not going to cover it. Proof of that. So now they come out with declaring like pandemic amnesty. I mean, who is they? The establishment, the people, the whoever they are, that side, whatever side they on, the mainstream media. One of these mainstream media website sources put out like an article declaring pandemic amnesty, and we should forgive our neighbors for what we did not know, and it was a crazy time and everybody was scared and we were just trying to protect ourselves and we were just trying to do what was best for the community and save lives and blah blah and bullshit, and that's why we had to hide information and call everybody Trump supporting conspiracy theorists and all that, and demonize them and morally shame them, intellectually shame them. That's why we had to do that. Sorry, amnesty. Let's call it truce, y'all. So that's they want to sweep shit under the rug that way. And we're talking about, and we're not even talking about like government officials lying, saying that things had certain effects when they didn't. Government officials lying on at every turn. Lying about where the virus came from, lying about how to treat it, lying about the deaths, lying about the deaths, because that's the biggest argument they try to fall back on. 1 million people died, 700,000 Americans, 1 million Americans died from COVID. No, they fucking did not. All right. So when we finally start to show these real numbers of who died with COVID and not from COVID, jump off a building and splat, but you had COVID. Oh, you died of COVID. No, died in a car crash with COVID. Yeah, you're counting that too. Like, what are you talking about? But there's ways to the data collection has been like really terrible, but there has been better forms and methods of data collection. A lot of other places who I guess aren't down with the agenda or who are trying to objectively see what's going on here. But that's where some of these people have been getting these numbers to dispute the freaking nonsense that's been on the TV and circulating through the media, both online And I said TV already, right? But whatever, you know? And what are they doing now? They doing studies on myocarditis. Now, a year later, almost 2 years later, now they doing studies on myocarditis. Now they doing trials to see, like, oh, so you just accept that you are the guinea pig, that you are the test subject. Like, now they doing the tests? After how many millions of people already got the shit? After millions of people already had complications? After how many people died? Now they doing the studies. And like, how are they gonna report what they find? Will they report what they find? Are they just gonna sweep it under the rug and start talking about war or the financial collapse or whatever the hell else? You know what I'm saying? So when they said the revolution will not be televised, now I see. Like, they're just gonna sweep this shit under the rug. One thing after the other. We got farmers protesting. We got farmers protesting all kind of different restrictions and mandates that they're trying to do to, like, for climate change and all this nonsense. Save the planet, save the turtles, stop eating meat, go green, Green New Deal, and all this stupid shit. Oh, you don't believe in climate change? You must think the earth is flat. You must be a Trump supporting conspiracy theorist. You must be an election denier. These people have one-track minds, bro. One-track mind. Either you're for diversity, inclusion, and equity, and blah, 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 and trans rights, and blah, blah. Or you're a Trump supporting conspiracy. There's no in between. There's no common sense. There's no middle ground. It's just trans rights. It's just trans rights and fucking climate change and all type of nonsense, bro. But that's the crazy thing, because this stuff is like, if you're looking through the lens of the media, if you're just looking through the tube, if you're just looking at the quote unquote trusted authoritative sources, that's what you're gonna think it's about. That's all you're gonna show you. But the revolution will not be televised. The real people who don't fuck with this nonsense, the real people who know better, the real people who have common sense, who are pushing back against this, it's not gonna get covered. They're gonna get demonized. You saw in Canada, they had the trucker protesting the vaccine mandates. It never got covered. They got demonized. They got called racist and misogynist because they didn't want to take the vaccine. Because, like, why? Because it's gonna keep it from giving it to somebody, right? Because it's gonna save your grandma. It's gonna save lives, right? Guess what? Pfizer didn't test for that. They didn't test for that. So how you gonna say that? See? But that's not in the news, though. Nobody, you didn't get that from the news. The revolution will not be televised. Black people start waking up and figuring out where we came from. How are we gonna get this message to everybody? The revolution will not be televised. People who got fired for not, adhering to the vaccine mandates, people who got denied exemptions, and they're getting reinstated with back pay. They're winning these cases. That's not in the media. The revolution will not be televised. Wow. That's what it means. That's what it means. All the injustice in the world by the powerful few and the way they try to portray it in the media to make people think, a certain thing is going on. But when they live when they're living and observing their real life, subjectively and objectively, it's not aligning with what's in the media. What they're really trying to do, the movements they're really trying to push forward, the media's not going to cover that. The revolution will not be televised. That's what it meant. That's what it meant. Good to know. Anyways, I'm gonna enjoy my Saturday, y'all. You know what time it is. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share it too.